Okay, so here we have a walkthrough for the track Dawn, which is the opening track on the new album Timelapse. This was the first thing that I actually did after the band became just me again. So again, there's not a lot of elements here. I didn't really know what to do at the time, so I didn't know whether Satan was going to keep going even. So I just sat down and just thought, you know what, I'll just try and make something. So I just started putting this together. So this was the first thing that I made in that kind of headspace for the record. The Twin Peaks pad, if you saw the Twin walkthrough, the Twin Peaks pad is like my kind of secret weapon. It's basically just a tiny element of this synth tutorial that I found on YouTube. I ripped it, and then because I only wanted this one bit of this one synth that I read that Angelo Badalamenti used in a lot of the Twin Peaks soundtrack, so I kind of looped. It sounds awful without anything on. Listen, it's looped really badly, obviously because it's just someone playing it on YouTube. But if you just swamp it in really low EQ, stick a load of reverb and delay on, it sounds really dreamy, really really nice, and obviously a lot like the Twin Peaks soundtrack. Elsewhere, what else have we got going on here? So there's a little delayed 808 kick there. I quite like doing this as well, just having one channel of it's a little kick drum that's kind of delayed, so it's kind of ping-ponging around your head when you listen to stuff, and then I'll kind of ease it off and bring in like a more standard kick drum a bit later on. The bass, it's an 808 kick drum, by the way. The bass is just my Reface, my Yamaha CS Reface synth, just playing a note. Guitar pads, I have this this Boss loop station that I just looped around like a load of textures, and I like doing that and putting that in a lot of stuff, just kind of a little guitar texture just sitting underneath everything. Just a nice little riff that I played on my guitar, and I thought, yeah, that sounds nice. But then I kind of went back and made that more bigger element in the track than it was originally, and then just me playing some chords as well, just trying to like beef out the kind of the sonics in it with like a lot of just nice sounding textures. So this is just like me strumming a few chords. Again, there's a snare going off somewhere. Not a snare. There's a hi-hat going off. There it is. I was proper obsessed with if you watch the Step Inside walkthrough, there was a time when all I was listening to was like Chromatics and Hate Rock, and all they seem to do is just take these 808s from these battered 808s and drum machines and just stick them through really like gnarly like distortion pedals, and they make it sound really like crunchy and like horrible, but really dreamy as well, because you put some reverb on. They sound, especially if you slow the BPMs down, this is at 90 BPM, they sound like really like kind of dreamy and hypnotic because they're slowly churning around, and that's what I wanted to get from the rhythms in a lot of this new stuff. Guitar, obviously I can never spell, so ignore all the typos in the channel lists. This is just two guitar leads playing kind of the similar thing, but like going up and down, and I pan them left and right, just to give it a bit, and there's one in the middle as well, just playing a bit higher, just to give it a really nice thick kind of texture, but not be too boring at the same time. I'm really like, when I do like guitar stuff, I'm really, I really have to think about, I get really obsessed with like not having it sound boring. I just don't want it to loop and loop and loop, because most of this is just loops, but bringing it in and out and affecting them as the track goes on. So I'm quite obsessed with that, so I want to do like different stuff, have different stuff in the guitar. But anyway, this main synth line here as well, fun fact, is actually a snare drum. So if you take everything off, this is what it sounds like. There you go. It's actually from a sample pack of the Buckler synth, but it has this like quite nice tone to it, and I put it in by accident, to be honest with you. I was looking for a synth one shot, but I put that in by accident, and then added all this other stuff, and it sounded really nice, and the arpeggiator just like kind of made it tick over really nicely for the rest of the track. So the whole track basically became that synth line and me like filtering it in and slowly filtering it out again to give it like that big crescendo. This is a cheeky sample from my friend Catherine, who records as the Anchoress. I needed like a kind of human element to it, so I took a background vocal from remix stems because I did a remix for her quite a while ago. So I reversed it and then swamped it in effects. But this is what there she is. But she has a really nice voice, so I thought like it's nice to kind of add that as a bit of another text, like a human element to the track. And then obviously put some sidechain on, some delay, just to give it that like kind of energy to keep the track going. But it's yet another texture that kind of floats on everything that makes it sound like quite big and quite like quite dreamy. It's just another synth line that I found that I kind of put in. I thought it sounded quite nice, so I just kind of EQ'd it in and out. Again, it kind of like bolstered as stuff's kind of fading out here, like guitar stuff's kind of fading out. I wanted another like kind of synthetic element to kind of come in and like pick up the slack from everything that was fading out. So this like kind of synth arpeggiator sounds really nice. So I just kind of like pop that back in. Yeah, it kind of does the trick. Just kind of bubbles away as everything else is kind of falling away. There's some claps and some bigger kicks. You can just about hear the kick there, and there's some claps and all sorts, like kind of still coming in. And then that's a Twin Peaks pad that just kind of loops and loops and loops. There it is. But as that was coming to the end, I added like a little piano outro. I didn't really know how to end the track, to be honest with you. So I thought, as I'd knocked everything off, I'd kind of faded it all out and just let the Twin Peaks pad roll. And I thought this sounds really nice, just this pad. But then I thought like I can't really end it on like 4 minutes of just pad because it'll sound really boring. So like I added this little piano line where it was just me kind of playing, just a couple of notes just to kind of beef it out. And originally it was a lot shorter than this, but when I sent the demo to Mike at M5MD, he said, you should really make that end bit a bit longer because it sounds really nice, sounds really pretty, and it'll kind of like bulk the tune out quite a lot, give the track a nice little finale, a nice little come down to the rest of it. So I thought, yeah, you're right. So I opened it back up again and then just kind of expanded on this element and just kind of like played around and so it's quite a nice way to end the track with a bit of piano. The sample is like what I've had for years. If you read that music tech piece where I talk about how I put stuff together, like you'll know that this is like one of the piano samples that I had for like 15 years or something, because I'd never realised that you could just update them, being really stupid of me. So that's like a really old, like kind of high piano sample, but it's quite nice. I was just making it on the fly anyway, so I just kind of threw it in there and just thought, yeah, and I never really kind of got around to making it any better, but it didn't sound like it needed to be any better. But anyway, that's all there is to Dawn, really.